Everyone. Welcome to Miss Sylvia's Praise Kitchen. And today is September the 22nd, 2019. We will be making fried chicken wings. But before we do, let's get our praise on. Today we will be reading from Ephesians, and we're going to read from Ephesians 3:14 through 20. For this reason, I bow my knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth takes its name. I pray that, according to the riches of his glory, he may grant that you may be strengthened in your inner being with power through his Spirit, and that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith as you are being rooted and grounded in love. I pray that you may have the power to comprehend with all the saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, so that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. Now to him who by the power at work within us is able to accomplish abundantly far more than we can ask or imagine. To him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus to all generations forever and ever. Amen. All right. We're going to be talking today about trusting God. Trusting God. But before we do, let me tell you what I've done so far with the chicken wings. What I did, I marinated them in Italian dressing all night long. Then this morning, I put them in flour and shook it up in this little pan here. And I'm going to turn my fire on now. I don't know whether you can see them here. Here they are. They're in here, the chicken wings. And I'm going to turn my fire up real high before I put the chicken wings in there. They're floured. I put seasoned salt. I put pepper. And I think that's all today that I put on there, seasoned salt and pepper. And like I said last night, I soaked them in Italian dressing, but I also put some of these hot pepper flakes in there to kind of give it a hot taste. So I'm going to turn my eye up to 7 and let that be getting really hot, because in order for the flour to stay on the chicken and be crispy, you need to go ahead and make sure your fire is hot enough. But let's talk a few moments about trusting him. Have you ever trusted God through something unthinkable? And when I say unthinkable, I mean something like an illness, believing him to cure you, something like being falsely accused, and everybody is believing your accuser, and it's a nightmare, but you trust God. Just many different things that you can trust him for. Have you ever trusted him for something and he has come through? Well, when that happens, you have to keep that in your memory for the times when it looks like things are not going to change. For the times when it looks like everybody, even the people who are supposed to be your friends and relatives, are on the wrong ship, are on the boat with the people who are doing the wrong against you. When family members and friends don't believe that you can be healed. And in fact, they're trying to tell you to kind of give up on it because they don't want you to have false hope, or so they say. Can I tell you, there are some people, and I hate to say this, that enjoy seeing you being in a situation where it seems like you can't get out of it. It's a shame. But there are some people who do sit back and think, oh, that girl got herself in something. Oh, she really got herself in something. And that's because of what they have heard, which is wrong information. And in your heart, you're saying to yourself, oh my, I thought that person was my friend. I thought that person would have stood up for me. I thought that person would be saying, encouraging me, hey, be of good courage. I can only sympathize with you. I can't even begin to know what you're going through, suffering through that illness or suffering through that being persecuted wrongfully. Seeing your child having problems in school, or seeing your child going through an illness. I can only sympathize with you. That's what you expect from people. But not everybody is going to do that. And in fact, sometimes you'll even find yourself alone. But can I tell you something? With God, you are not alone. You are with the most important person in the universe. And so what I tell people, especially with what I've gone through and going through, I look at people, and when they go along with the crowd, when they're supposed to be people who you think would stand with you, and they're going along with everybody else, pretty much like Job's wife told him to curse God and die. Job in the Bible. When you have these curse God and die friends and family members and people that you never met looking upside your head thinking, oh, she'll never get well. She'll never be delivered from this. Think about God. I look at these people and I say they're nothing but toy soldiers. When it comes to God, they're nothing but toy soldiers. God can move this mountain whenever he gets ready. And let me tell you something. When you're in a situation and you've done everything you can do to be healed, to be delivered, and it's still not happening, and you're a good person, can I tell you God is up to something? He is up to something. So you hold on and trust in God. Keep on trusting. Forget about the Job's wife people who telling you to curse God and die. The ones who stand with the crowd. The ones who sit back and laugh when you're going through difficulty, but they pretend to be your friend. The ones who have given up hope on your being cured or you coming out. You just look at them and say, I trust God. If God be for me, who can be against me? Just a moment. Let's take a look at our chicken grease, and it's hot, so we're going to put our chicken in there before it gets too... Put our chicken in here before it gets too hot. Because what I do, I turn my fire up really hot, and then I turn it down. So we got to get this chicken in here before it gets to the point where it'll burn the chicken when it gets in here. You better hold to his hands, to God's unchanging hands. Hold to his hands, to God's unchanging hands. Build your hopes on things eternal, and hold to God's unchanging hands. Time is filled with swift transition. Not on earth unmoved can stand. Build your hopes on things eternal, and hold to God's unchanging hands. You better hold to his hands, to God's unchanging hands. Hold to his hands, to God's unchanging hands. Build your hopes on things eternal and hold to God's unchanging hands. Now, back to what we were talking about. Trust in God. Even when you're alone, trust Him. When you don't have anybody standing with you, trust Him. Because I can think of many examples of times when God has come through for me. And I hold on to those times when He has come through. When I'm going through something that looks like it's just not going to ever change. And like I said, when you're going through something that looks like it's never going to change, I can assure you, God is up to something. He may be using what you're going through, not only for His glory, because when you finally come out, you'll know who did it. God did it. You didn't do it. Not a friend was with you, but you came out. So, no matter how long it takes, trust Him. If you're sick and you've been sick for a long time, trust Him. Trust Him. You got a story to tell when you come out of that. When you're healed, you got a story to tell somebody else. And we talked about that last week. Don't give up. Don't give up. No matter how long it takes. No matter if you're standing alone, stand. Don't expect friends and family to stand with you. Some people are going to go along with the crowd no matter what. But do know, at the very end of the day, the most important how God is with you. As long as you know that you know that you know, you didn't go out here and do nothing wrong to get sick. You didn't go out here and do nothing wrong to be persecuted. God is going to use that for His glory. So hang in there. Don't give up. Think of all of the times when God came through for you. In the past. Yes, it's taken a long time this time. But it's going to be for His glory. It's going to be for a change to happen. I was looking at a movie the other night. And this man and this wife, this man and this young lady got married. This is years ago. And time they got married, she was about to have a child. And something happened to him where he developed something where he couldn't walk, talk, or breathe on his own. And the doctors kept him in the hospital. And one of his friends came up with something that we see today, a wheelchair like we see today, where somebody can have one of those breathing machines on the chair that he's sitting in. And up to this point, they just let the people languish in the hospital without a life. And his wife told the doctor he's coming home. If he can bring that life support instrument home, he's coming home. He went on to go to different places where people had the same problem that he was having, where they couldn't walk, they couldn't do for themselves, and they had them locked up in hospitals. And he gave his story, and he changed how they treated people who could not breathe on their own and walk and talk with this wheelchair that his friend developed. And though you may be going through something that is just something that is so tough to deal with, God is going to allow you to use, let me turn this chicken over. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. All right, I'm going to let you see it because the show is running a little long. So I'm going to let you see it and give you my ending thoughts. So you can see it's getting brown. And what I will do, I'll put on up underneath this video a picture of it once it's done. I've turned my chicken down. I put seasoned salt and onion salt and pepper on the chicken. And so I'm going to turn it down and let it cook a little bit. And I'll put on here the end product. But like I was saying, I just want to tell people who are going through something and who has done everything they know how to do to be delivered from whatever's going on in their life, to not give up and to know that God is up to something and He is going to use it for His glory. So thank you for tuning in. And this is Miss Sylvia's Praise Kitchen. Have a wonderful week.